You know perfectly well that something doesn't fit. You know it every time you decline an invitation and see that look of disappointment mixed with judgment. You know it when they call you boring, antisocial, or difficult, when the truth is, they simply can't understand what it feels like. They think it's a choice, that you decide to complicate your life, that you could be like them if you wanted to. But it doesn't work that way. And the most frustrating part is that you yourself have tried to convince yourself that they're right, that you should enjoy those crowded places, that constant noise, that chaotic energy that everyone seems to adore. You've forced yourself to smile in places where you wanted to disappear. You've pretended to be comfortable when every second was silent torture. And you know what you discovered? That pretending to be someone you're not exhausts you more than anything else in this world. There's something in you that others don't understand. Something that makes you different. And every time you try to explain it, they look at you as if you were exaggerating. It's not that you're antisocial. It's not that you hate people. It's that when you enter a place full of voices, lights, and bodies in motion, something inside you twists. And it's not fear. It's not social anxiety like they've told you 1,000 times. It's something deeper, more visceral. Something that has no name but that you feel with every fiber of your being. While others float through the crowd like fish in water, you feel like you're drowning in an ocean of stimuli you didn't ask to process. And the worst part is that nobody believes you when you say you're exhausted without having done anything physically demanding. How do you explain to them that simply being present in that chaos consumes more energy than running a marathon? The reality is brutally simple. Your nervous system doesn't work like most people's. It's not a defect, although the world has made you feel that way for years. It's a different configuration, an elevated sensitivity that turns every experience into high definition. While most people automatically filter 90% of what's happening around them, you absorb it all. Every distant conversation, every shrill laugh, every flickering fluorescent light, every smell mixed in the air, every facial expression that crosses your visual field. Your brain doesn't discriminate. It doesn't select what's important and what's not. Everything enters. Everything gets processed. Everything demands your attention even though you don't want to give it. It's like living without mental eyelids, without the ability to close your eyes to the constant bombardment of sensory information that the world throws at you without mercy. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a room. For most people, that room has thick doors and windows with curtains. They can decide what comes in and what stays out. But your room has glass walls and doors wide open. Everything that happens outside enters without asking permission. The sound of someone dragging a chair 20 meters away. The unverbalized tension between two people who are pretending to get along. The hum of the air conditioning that no one else seems to notice. The background music that mixes with voices, creating a cacophony that pierces your mental eardrums. You can't turn it off. You can't lower the volume. You can't choose to ignore it. And when you try to explain this, when you try to make them understand that it's not a preference but a neurological reality, you encounter empty stares and empty advice. Relax, they tell you. Don't think so much, they suggest, as if it were as simple as pressing an off button that doesn't exist. Here comes the part that science confirms, but the world conveniently ignores. Your brain processes information differently. It's not imagination. It's not drama. It's pure chemistry and hard neurology. When you're surrounded by people, when the environment fills with stimuli, your nervous system doesn't release dopamine like an extrovert's does. They recharge with chaos, you bleed out with it. Dopamine, that neurotransmitter everyone seeks like addicts, works differently in you. Extroverts need large doses of external stimuli to feel that high, that sensation of being alive. That's why they seek parties, events, places where the energy is high and the intensity is constant. Their brain rewards them for being there, gives them that chemical hit that makes them feel complete. But you don't work that way. Your brain doesn't need that level of external stimulation because your internal world is already intense enough. When you immerse yourself in a crowded place, your system overloads, saturates, enters survival mode. And while they dance and laugh, you're fighting to maintain sanity, to not collapse under the weight of all that information your brain insists on processing meticulously. Acetylcholine, another key neurotransmitter, plays its silent but devastating role here. While dopamine drives the search for external rewards, acetylcholine feeds the internal world, reflection, deep thought. And guess what? Your brain prefers that path. It prefers introspection to massive external stimulation. That's why when you're in silence, when you're alone, when the world quiets down and leaves you in peace, you don't feel empty like an extrovert does. You feel complete. You feel at home. Because your brain chemistry is giving you exactly what you need. Space to process, to reflect, to exist without the pressure of responding to 1,000 simultaneous stimuli. But the world doesn't value that. The world values extroversion, the ability to always be available, always present, always on. And when you don't meet that arbitrary standard, they label you as weird, as problematic, as someone who needs fixing. Now comes what's really going to shake you. You don't just absorb physical stimuli, you absorb others' emotions. And I'm not talking about superficial empathy, that ability to feel sorry when someone cries. I'm talking about something much more invasive and exhausting. You enter a room, and without anyone saying a word, you already know who's lying, who's uncomfortable, who's pretending to be fine when inside they're falling apart. The micro-expressions that others ignore, you capture them all. The smile that doesn't reach the eyes, the laugh that sounds half a second higher than normal, the tension in someone's shoulders who's trying to appear relaxed. All of that enters your radar without filter, without permission. And it's not that you seek it, it's that you simply see it. It's like having a perceptive capacity in high definition that no one else has. And although it sounds like a superpower, it feels like a curse most of the time. When you're in a place full of people, you're not just processing your own experience, you're processing fragments of everyone else's experiences, their anxieties, their social masks, their discomforts disguised as courtesy. And all of that accumulates, piles up in your mind like layers of information you didn't ask to carry. By the end of the day, you're not tired from what you did. You're exhausted from what you felt, from what you perceived, from what your brain decided to analyze without consulting you first. And when you try to explain this, when you try to make them understand that going out isn't simply going out for you, that it involves an energetic cost they can't comprehend, you encounter incomprehension disguised as concern. You should go out more, they tell you. Socializing is good for you, they insist. As if you hadn't tried 1,000 times, as if you didn't know perfectly well that for you, socializing isn't recharging, it's wearing down. Here's the philosophical part that nobody wants to touch. Authenticity. That word everyone repeats like a mantra, but few truly understand. You can't be in a place full of falseness without feeling like you're suffocating. It's not arrogance, it's not feeling superior, it's simply that your nervous system is wired to seek the genuine, the real, the deep. And crowds rarely offer that. Crowds offer masks, social roles, superficial interactions designed to maintain harmony, but empty of substance. While others can navigate that social theater without flinching, you feel every polite lie like a blow. Every "I'm fine" when they clearly aren't. Every banal conversation about the weather when there are more important topics waiting to be explored. Every fake smile you're supposed to return with another equally empty one. All of that drains you because your brain isn't designed to operate at that level of superficiality. You need depth, you need truth, you need connections that go beyond the automatic exchange of stock phrases. And here comes what really hurts. The world punishes you for that. It punishes you for needing substance, for rejecting the superficial, for not conforming to the diluted version of human relationships that everyone seems to accept without questioning. They tell you you're difficult, that you expect too much, that you need to lower your standards. But lowering your standards would mean betraying yourself. It would mean accepting crumbs when you know there are banquets available for those willing to seek them. Kierkegaard expressed it with devastating clarity. Most people live in silent desperation, accepting lives that don't belong to them, following scripts that others wrote. But you can't do that. Your sensitivity doesn't allow it. You can see through the theater. You can detect desperation disguised as normalcy. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. You can't pretend that empty conversations make sense, that forced social gatherings are valuable, that being surrounded by people automatically means connection. Real connection, the kind everyone says they're looking for but few are willing to build, requires vulnerability. It requires removing masks, lowering defenses, showing the cracks that everyone tries to hide. And that doesn't happen in the midst of noise. It doesn't happen when there are 20 simultaneous conversations competing for attention. It doesn't happen when the environment is designed for constant distraction. Real connection happens in silence, in spaces where words have weight because they don't compete with chaos. It happens when two people can look at each other without the pressure to fill every second with noise, when they can exist together without the need to perform, to act, to be something different from what they are. But those moments are scarce in a world obsessed with volume, with quantity over quality, with the illusion that more people means more life. Then you reach that point where you have to choose. You can keep trying to fit into spaces that weren't designed for you, forcing yourself to enjoy experiences that empty you. Or you can accept that your energy is finite and deserves to be invested wisely. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Protecting your energy isn't selfishness, it's survival. Every time you say yes to something that exhausts you, you're saying no to something that would nourish you. Every hour you spend in a place that drains you is an hour you're not investing in something that truly fills you. And the world will make you feel guilty about that. It will make you feel like you're missing out, that you're missing life, that you're less for needing silence when others need noise. But the truth is exactly the opposite. You're gaining. You're gaining mental clarity, inner peace, the ability to hear your own thoughts without the constant noise that others seem to need to avoid facing themselves. Seneca, 2,000 years ago, already understood this. He wrote that it's not that we have little time, it's that we waste a lot. And you, how much time have you wasted trying to be someone you're not? How many hours have you sacrificed in places that give you nothing simply because you were told you should be there? How much energy have you burned on interactions that left you emptier than before you started them? Time is the only thing you can't recover. And when you spend it trying to meet expectations that others imposed on you, you're giving away pieces of your life in exchange for nothing. Because in the end, after the party, after the event, after forcing yourself to be present in places that mentally absent you, what's left? Exhaustion, frustration, the feeling of having acted in a play you didn't choose to star in. And then there's the guilt. That persistent guilt you feel every time you cancel plans, every time you say no, every time you choose to stay home when everyone else is going out. You've been programmed to believe that rejecting constant stimulation is rejecting life itself, that choosing silence over noise is choosing solitude over connection. But it's a lie so repeated that it has become truth for millions of people who don't even question it. Loneliness isn't being alone. Loneliness is being surrounded by people and feeling like nobody really sees you. It's being in a room full of voices and feeling like none of them speak to you, that they all speak through you as if you were an invisible ghost. That's true loneliness. And those who fill their lives with constant noise experience it more than anyone, although they would never admit it. Your brain needs pauses. It needs moments where it doesn't have to process, analyze, filter. It needs the mental equivalent of breathing, of oxygenating, of existing without external demand. And when you deny yourself those pauses, when you force yourself to always be available, always present, always active, your system collapses. Not dramatically, not with a visible outburst, but with a slow and silent wear that empties you from the inside. You start to feel that everything requires effort, that every interaction is a mountain, that getting out of bed is a heroic feat. And it's not depression, although many will tell you it is. It's accumulated exhaustion. It's the price of living against your nature for too long. Studies on highly sensitive nervous systems confirm all of this, but the academic world buries them under mountains of information about how to be more productive, more social, more extroverted. Because society isn't designed for those who process deeply, it's designed for those who consume quickly and move on. The attention economy has no space for those who need time to digest experiences, for those who prefer one deep conversation over 1,000 superficial interactions. The system needs you available, reactive, constantly connected. And if you're not, if you dare to disconnect, to prioritize your mental peace over their demand for infinite availability, they label you as problematic. But here's what's interesting. Those who really change the world, those who create, who innovate, who think differently are rarely the ones who are everywhere. They're the ones who disappear, who immerse themselves in silence, who protect their mental space as if it were sacred territory. Because it is. Your mind isn't a public space. It's not a plaza where anyone can enter and make noise. It's your sanctuary, and you have every right to decide who enters and when. The geniuses of history, the artists, the philosophers, the scientists who truly left their mark, spent more time in solitude than in crowds. Newton, Nietzsche, Tesla, Kafka, all of them understood something the world still won't accept. Greatness is born in silence, not in noise. When you're in a quiet place, when the outside world turns off and only your inner world remains, that's where the magic happens. That's where ideas connect, where thoughts deepen, where you can hear that internal voice that constant noise drowns mercilessly. But to get there, you have to be willing to disappoint some people, to decline invitations, to be misunderstood by those who can't conceive that someone prefers to be with themselves rather than with them. And that requires courage, more courage than it takes to simply go with the flow and do what everyone expects. Social pressure is real, and it's brutal. From the time you're a child, they teach you that being popular is important, that having many friends is a sign of success, that being alone is something that must be avoided at all costs. They bombard you with images of happy people in large groups, of endless parties, of constant connection. And when you don't fit that mold, When your internal circuits don't respond to those stimuli in the expected way, you start to believe there's something wrong with you. But there's nothing wrong. You're simply different, and the world doesn't know what to do with difference it can't monetize or control. Here comes the part that will free you if you accept it. You don't have to justify yourself. You don't have to explain why you prefer a quiet afternoon over a chaotic night. Why you choose to read a book instead of going to that event where everyone will be. Why your idea of fun doesn't include strobe lights and conversations shouted over deafening music. You don't owe anyone an explanation of how your nervous system works, of why your brain processes the world differently. And when you stop justifying yourself, when you stop trying to make others understand something that's outside their lived experience, you free yourself. You free yourself from the need for external validation, from the approval of people who will never understand you because they can't feel what you feel. Real freedom begins when you accept that not everyone will understand your decisions, and that's okay. Not everyone has to understand why you need space, why silence is your refuge, why crowds drain you instead of energizing you. What matters is that you understand it, that you honor that truth instead of betraying it to fit in. Because in the end, the only person you have to live with every second of every day is yourself. And if you betray your nature to please others, you'll live in a state of constant dissonance that will eventually break you. Epictetus said it centuries ago, "Control what you can control and let go of the rest." You can't control how others perceive your need for solitude, but you can control whether you honor it or suppress it. You can't control that they call you boring or antisocial, but you can control whether you let those labels define your reality. The judgment of others only has the power you decide to give it. And when you understand that, when you truly internalize it, the world loses its ability to manipulate you. Now think about this. Every great work of art, every scientific breakthrough, every philosophical discovery that changed the way humanity sees itself was born in the mind of someone who had the courage to step away from the noise. They weren't born at parties. They didn't emerge in the midst of social chaos. They didn't materialize while someone was trying to impress a crowd. They were born in stillness, in that sacred space where the mind can expand without external restrictions. And if you feel that need for stillness, if your nervous system demands that space to function optimally, you're not avoiding life. You're creating the conditions to live it more deeply than most can imagine. The paradox is brutal. Those who talk most about living intensely are the ones who spend the least time truly present with themselves. They fill every second with activity, with noise, with distraction, because the moment they're left alone with their thoughts, they panic. Silence terrifies them because in silence, there's no escape from who they really are, from the questions they've been avoiding, from the uncomfortable truths that noise keeps buried. But you don't have that problem. You don't fear silence. You fear the noise that drowns your ability to think, to feel, to be. And here's what you need to engrave in your mind with fire. Choosing tranquility over chaos isn't giving up. It's reclaiming yourself. It's saying that your energy has value, that your mental peace is non-negotiable, that you prefer an authentic and silent life over a noisy and empty one. The world will keep pressuring you, will keep telling you you're missing out, that you should be doing more, being more, showing up more. But the truth is that while they're chasing experiences to fill the void, you're building an inner life so rich that you don't need external validation to feel complete. Extroverts need the world to feel alive. You feel alive despite the world. And that's your advantage, even if it doesn't seem like it. Because when the world collapses, when external structures fail, when the noise stops and naked reality emerges, those who depend on external stimuli crumble. But you who have learned to inhabit your inner world, you who have built strength in silence, you remain. You remain because you don't need anything external to sustain you, because your stability comes from within. Schopenhauer understood this better than anyone. He wrote that the common man seeks satisfaction outside himself, while the extraordinary man finds it within. He wasn't talking about moral superiority. He was pointing out a fundamental difference in how different brains seek balance. And if your brain is wired to find that balance in introspection, in stillness, in spaces where you can process without interference, then forcing yourself to seek satisfaction in crowded places is like asking a fish to climb trees. You can try, you can make an effort, but it will never be your natural element. Your space of truth isn't a physical place, it's a mental state. It's that moment where your nervous system can finally relax because there's nothing to process, nothing to filter, nothing to analyze. It's where you can exist without a mask, without performance, without the need to be anything more than yourself. And if that space is only found in solitude or in very selective company, then that's what you need to protect. Not as a whim, not as weakness, but as a biological necessity as valid as the need to sleep or breathe. The problem is that the world confuses preference with inability. When you say you prefer to be alone, they hear that you can't be with people. When you explain that crowds exhaust you, they interpret that you fear them. But it's not fear, it's knowledge. Knowledge of your limits, of your internal configuration, of what your system needs to function optimally. And that knowledge is power, although the world tries to make you believe it's weakness. So let me tell you something you need to hear. It's okay. It's okay that you don't enjoy what others enjoy. It's okay that your idea of a good night doesn't include crowded places. It's okay that you prefer deep conversations with 2 people over superficial chats with 20. It's okay that you need time to recover after social interactions. It's okay that your battery charges in solitude while others need company to recharge theirs. None of that makes you less. It makes you different. And different isn't defective. It's simply another path toward the same goal, a life worth living. The authenticity you seek so much, the one you don't find in crowds, you build it in silence. You build it by choosing quality over quantity, depth over breadth, truth over social convenience. And every time you honor that need, every time you choose your mental peace over others' expectations, you're building a life that truly belongs to you. Not a borrowed life, not a life that looks good in photographs but feels empty inside, but an authentic life where every decision reflects who you really are. So the next time you feel that pressure, that voice telling you that you should be doing something different, being someone different, remember this. Your sensitivity isn't your enemy, it's your compass. It points you toward what you really need, toward the spaces where you can flourish, toward the people with whom connection is real and not just social protocol. And if that means saying no more often, if it means being misunderstood by those who operate on different frequencies, so be it. Because in the end, the only approval that really matters is yours, and you can't give it to yourself if you're living the life others designed for you. The noise will never disappear. The world will continue to be chaotic. Crowds will continue to exist, and there will be moments where you can't avoid being in the midst of the tumult. But what you can control is how you recover, how you protect your energy afterward, how you create those spaces of calm that your nervous system needs to not collapse. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't create those spaces intentionally, if you don't defend them ferociously, the world will take them from you. The world will consume you until there's nothing left of you, until you're just an empty shell automatically responding to demands that never end. And the most dangerous thing is normalization. You get so used to exhaustion that you start to believe it's your natural state. You start to think that's what life is like for everyone, that perpetual tiredness is the price of being an adult. But it's not. It's the price of living in constant contradiction with your nature. It's the price of ignoring the signals your body sends you, of pushing when you should stop, of saying yes when every fiber of your being is screaming no. And the longer you sustain it, the deeper the hole you'll eventually have to climb out of. Recovery isn't optional, it's essential. It's not a luxury you give yourself when you have time, it's a necessity as basic as eating. But the world has convinced you that resting is wasting time, that stopping is falling behind, that needing silence is being weak. And under that pressure, you keep going even though you're functioning at 20% capacity, even though each day is harder than the last, even though you know something has to change, but you don't know how to do it without disappointing everyone who expects something from you. Here's what you need to understand. Others' disappointment is inevitable. No matter what you do, there will always be someone who thinks you should be doing something different. There will always be someone who questions your decisions, who judges your priorities, who doesn't understand why you choose what you choose. And if you try to live so that no one is disappointed, you'll end up being the biggest disappointment of all. To yourself? Because you'll have sacrificed your well-being, your mental peace, your authenticity to keep people happy who probably aren't even thinking about you most of the time. The irony is brutal. You worry obsessively about what others think while they're too busy worrying about what others think of them. Everyone is trapped in the same cycle of social anxiety. Everyone is performing for an audience that isn't actually paying that much attention. And you, with your hypersensitive nervous system, capture all that falseness, all that performance, and it exhausts you because you can't simply ignore it like others do. You see it, you feel it, you process it, and that drains you in ways no one else experiences. But there's power in seeing what others don't see. There's an advantage in capturing the subtleties that most ignore. Because although that sensitivity exhausts you in chaotic environments, it gives you a clarity that few possess. You can detect lies before they become obvious. You can read intentions before they become actions. You can sense when something isn't right long before it explodes. That's your competitive advantage, although no one has ever presented it to you that way. They've made you believe it's a burden, when in reality it's a tool. You just need to learn to use it without it consuming you. The key is in dosage. It's not about completely avoiding social interactions or living like a hermit. It's about being strategic with your energy, understanding that you have a limited tank, and that each interaction consumes from that tank in different ways. A deep conversation with someone you respect can fill you, while 3 hours at a superficial party can completely empty you. It's not the amount of time, it's the quality of the interaction. And when you understand that, when you truly integrate it, you start to make different decisions. You start to prioritize encounters that nourish over events that drain. You start to choose depth over popularity. You start to build a small but solid circle instead of a wide but superficial network. And yes, that means you won't be the most social person in the group. You won't be the one who knows everyone. You won't be the one in all the photos of all the events, but you'll be someone who lives with integrity, who honors their needs, who isn't constantly exhausted from trying to be something they're not. The Stoics understood this millennia ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. And your thoughts can't have quality if your mind is constantly bombarded by stimuli it can't process adequately. You need mental space for thoughts to develop, for ideas to mature, for deep reflection to occur. And that space doesn't exist in the midst of chaos. It only exists in the stillness you protect ferociously. But protecting that space requires saying no. And saying no requires accepting that you'll be judged. You'll be the weird one, the difficult one, the one who always has excuses. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be so sure of what you need that others' opinions become irrelevant background noise. Because if you wait for others to validate your decisions, you'll wait eternally. External validation never comes for those who choose different paths. It only comes for those who follow the established script. And you can't follow that script without destroying yourself in the process. Here comes something no one has told you. Your discomfort in crowded places isn't something you have to overcome. It's something you have to accept. The world sells you the idea that everything is improvable, that with enough effort you can become someone who enjoys anything. But that's a lie designed to sell you courses, therapies, and solutions to problems that aren't problems. There's nothing to fix in you. Your nervous system functions exactly as it should for someone with your biological configuration. Trying to change it is like trying to change the color of your eyes through sheer willpower. What you can change is your relationship with that reality. You can stop seeing it as a defect and start seeing it as a feature. You can stop trying to fit into spaces that weren't designed for you and start creating or seeking spaces that were. You can stop measuring your life with others' yardstick and start using your own. And when you do that, when you finally give yourself permission to be who you are without apologies, something changes. Not in the world will remain exactly as chaotic, but it changes in you. You become unbreakable because you're no longer fighting against your nature. The internal struggle is the most exhausting of all. More than any social event, more than any crowd, what really drains you is the constant war between who you are and who you think you should be. That discrepancy is where all your energy goes. And when you finally stop fighting, when you accept that it's okay to be exactly as you are, you recover that energy. You recover it completely and can use it for things that really matter. But acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It doesn't mean you conform to a limited life or that you give up on growth. It means you build from a foundation of truth instead of a foundation of social lies. It means your decisions come from a place of authenticity instead of a place of fear of rejection. And from that place, from that solid foundation, you can build whatever you want. But what you build will be yours, not an imitation of what others consider success. Conventional success is overrated. They sell you the image of the successful person as someone who's always available, always on the move, always surrounded by people. But that image is a prison for someone like you. You can achieve that kind of success. You can force yourself to live that life. But the price will be your mental health, your inner peace, your ability to feel like yourself. And no external achievement is worth that price. No amount of recognition, money, or status compensates for living in constant dissonance with yourself. The true revolutionaries, those who changed paradigms, weren't the most social. They were the most focused, the most willing to ignore the noise and immerse themselves in their work. Darwin spent decades in relative isolation developing his theory. Einstein needed long periods of solitude to think. Virginia Woolf wrote about the need to have a room of one's own, a space where the world couldn't enter. They weren't antisocial. They were fierce protectors of their mental energy because they knew that without that protection, their work couldn't exist. And you don't have to be a genius to deserve that same protection. You don't have to be creating masterpieces to justify your need for silence. Your well-being is sufficient justification. Your mental health is sufficient reason. Your need to exist without constant exhaustion is valid by itself, without needing to produce anything extraordinary to earn that right. Because here's what capitalism doesn't want you to know. Your value isn't in your productivity. Your value exists simply because you exist. But you've been conditioned to believe otherwise. You've been trained to measure your worth in terms of how much you produce, how much you contribute, how much you give to others. And under that measurement system, taking time for yourself feels like stealing. Resting feels like failing. Prioritizing your mental peace feels like selfishness. But that system is designed to squeeze you until there's nothing left, to extract every drop of energy you have, and then replace you when you burn out. You don't have to play by those rules. You can create your own rules. You can decide that your energy is sacred and that you only share it with those who honor it. You can establish boundaries that others will consider excessive, but that for you are essential. You can build a life that seems boring from the outside, but feels complete from the inside. And the opinion of those who don't live in your skin is completely irrelevant. Nietzsche wrote that you must become who you are. It sounds simple, but it's brutally difficult, because it implies shedding all the layers of social conditioning, all the internalized expectations, all the versions of yourself you built to please others. It implies looking in the mirror and recognizing a stranger because you've spent so much time being who others needed that you forgot who you really were. But that process, although painful, is the only path to a life worth living. And on that path, you'll discover something interesting. You're not alone. There are millions of people who feel exactly the same as you, who struggle with the same internal battles, who also feel exhausted by a world that doesn't understand how they work. But you don't find them at massive parties or multitudinous events. You find them in smaller spaces, in deeper conversations, in moments of genuine connection that don't require shouting over deafening music. Those connections, when you find them, are worth more than 1,000 superficial interactions, because they're real, they're deep, they're reciprocal. You're not acting. You're not exhausting yourself trying to be someone else. You're simply being. And when you find people with whom you can be without effort, you protect those relationships like the treasure they are. Because they're rare, because they're valuable, because they remind you that there's nothing wrong with you, you simply need the right environment to flourish. Your space of truth isn't a physical place, although it can include physical places. It's a state of being where your nervous system can finally relax, where there are no constant external demands, where you can process everything you've absorbed without interruptions. For some, it's a quiet room. For others, it's nature. For some, it's the early morning when the world sleeps. It doesn't matter where it is. What matters is that you find it and protect it as if your life depended on it. Because in many ways, it does. Mental health isn't a luxury, it's a foundation. And for someone with a highly sensitive nervous system, maintaining that health requires strategies that others don't need. It requires being more selective with your time, more protective of your energy. more willing to disappoint in order not to destroy yourself. And the world will make you feel guilty about that, will tell you you're being selfish, that you're missing opportunities, that you're closing yourself off to life. But the truth is exactly the opposite. You're opening yourself to the life you can actually live, not to the imitation of life that others live. So here's your choice, the same choice you face every day. You can keep trying to fit into molds that break you, or you can accept your unique shape and build a life that honors it. You can keep exhausting yourself in places that empty you, or you can invest your energy in spaces that nourish you. You can keep measuring your life with others' metrics, or you can create your own. It's not an easy choice because it implies going against the current, but it's the only choice that allows you to live with integrity. And in the end, when you look back on your life, you won't remember how many parties you attended or how many social events you marked on your calendar. You'll remember the moments where you felt complete, the conversations that changed your perspective, the shared silences that said more than 1,000 words. You'll remember the brave decisions where you chose your mental peace over others' approval, where you said no when everyone expected a yes, where you were true to yourself even though it meant being alone. Because being alone isn't the same as being lonely. You can be surrounded by people and feel completely alone, or you can be physically alone and feel completely connected to yourself. And that connection with yourself, that ability to inhabit yourself without needing constant distractions, is the foundation of everything else. Without it, any relationship you build will be superficial. Any achievement you reach will feel empty. Any life you live will be borrowed. So honor your sensitivity. Protect your energy. Choose quality over quantity. Say no without guilt. Create your space of truth and defend it ferociously. And remember that there's nothing to fix in you. There's only a life to live authentically. The world will continue to be noisy. Crowds will continue to be exhausting. And there will always be pressure to be different. But now you know the truth. Your way of being isn't a mistake. It's simply another way of existing. And that way deserves as much respect as any other. Now let me tell you something that will completely change your perspective. Something that psychologists have recently discovered and that nobody is talking about. It turns out that people with highly sensitive nervous systems have an evolutionary advantage that most don't know about. For thousands of years, while tribes needed hunters and warriors, they also needed observers. They needed someone who could detect dangers that others didn't see, who noticed subtle changes in the environment, who perceived hidden intentions. Those observers, those sensitive ones, were the ones who kept the group alive. They weren't the physically strongest, but they were the most perceptive strategically. And guess what? You carry that DNA. That lineage of observers who saved their tribes simply by seeing what others ignored. But here's what's fascinating. In the modern world, that ability has become a disguised curse because we no longer value deep observation, we value quick reaction. We no longer reward subtle perception. We reward constant participation. The world changed, but your biology didn't. And there's the conflict. You're not maladjusted. You're an observer living in an era of performers. And while they're busy performing, you're watching the complete play, catching the errors in the script, noticing the cracks in the scenery. That exhausts you because you're processing 3 levels of reality while they only see 1. Think about this for a second. When you enter a room full of people, your brain is doing something extraordinary. It's reading facial micro-expressions at a speed that most can't even imagine. It's detecting voice patterns, changes in tone, significant pauses. It's capturing everyone's body language, the tension in their shoulders, the way they avoid looking at someone specific. It's processing smells, temperatures, air quality. It's mapping social dynamics, who has power, who's pretending, who's uncomfortable. All of that happens simultaneously, without you asking for it, without you being able to turn it off. It's like having 20 screens open in your brain while others have 2. Of course, it exhausts you. Not because you're weak, but because you're doing the work of 10 people without even realizing it. And now that we've made it this far, before we continue, I want to present the following to you. Our book, The Formula of Awakening, is now available. Do you feel like there's something inside you that wants to awaken, but you don't know where to start? Then I invite you to transform your way of thinking, and with it, your way of living. Discover who you can become. Start today. The link to get the ebook is in the first pinned comment of this video. Grab your copy now at a great price. With that said, let's continue with the video. And here comes what's going to blow your mind. That capacity, that superpower disguised as a curse, is exactly what the future needs. We live in an era of artificial intelligence, of automation, of speed without reflection. But what machines can't replicate is deep human perception, the ability to read between the lines, to capture the unsaid, to feel the invisible. While the world rushes toward digitalized superficiality, deep observers like you become increasingly valuable. Because someone has to see what everyone is ignoring. Someone has to notice when something isn't right. Someone has to be the guardian of authenticity in a world that's drowning in falseness. But to be that guardian, you first have to stop apologizing for being one. You have to stop seeing your sensitivity as a problem and start seeing it as a purpose. Because if you don't see what others ignore, if you don't point out the inconsistencies, if you don't refuse to participate in the theater of superficiality, who will? The world needs people who refuse to applaud when everyone applauds, who question when everyone accepts, who choose silence when everyone shouts. And that's you. Not by conscious choice, but by biological design. So here's your mission, if you decide to accept it. Stop trying to be less sensitive and start using that sensitivity strategically. Become the conscious observer that your biology designed you to be. When you're in those places that exhaust you, don't fight the exhaustion. Use it as information. Ask yourself what you're capturing that others don't see, what they're ignoring that you can't ignore. What truths are buried under the noise that only you can unearth? Because there, in that discomfort, is your power. Not despite your sensitivity, but thanks to it. And when you need to withdraw, when you need that space of silence that your system demands, do it without explanations. Do it knowing that you're not fleeing, you're recharging. You're preparing for the next round of deep observation that only you can do. Warriors rest between battles, and you're a warrior of perception. Your battlefield isn't physical, it's mental and emotional. And like any warrior, you need to withdraw to recover strength. There's no shame in that, there's strategy. Here's the conclusion you need to engrave in your mind like a permanent tattoo. The world will try to convince you that there's something wrong with you until the day you die. It will try to sell you solutions to a problem that doesn't exist. It will try to make you believe that if only you were different, if only you tried harder, if only you changed your fundamental nature, then you would be happy. But that's the biggest lie they'll ever tell you. Happiness doesn't come from becoming someone else. It comes from deeply accepting who you are and building a life that honors that truth without compromise. Your discomfort in crowded places isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's not something to repair, it's something to understand and work with, not against. And when you finally understand it, When you truly accept it without reservations, something magical happens. You stop feeling broken and start feeling complete. You stop seeking external validation because your internal validation becomes unshakable. You stop measuring your life with others' yardstick because you've created your own measurement system based on authenticity, depth, and truth. So the next time someone asks you why you don't go out more, why you prefer to be alone, why you decline invitations, don't justify yourself. Simply smile, knowing that you're protecting something they can't see. Your ability to remain whole in a fragmented world. Your ability to think deeply in an era of superficiality. Your courage to be authentic when everyone is performing. That's not weakness, that's power in its purest form. And if you've made it this far, if this message resonated somewhere deep within you, then you already know what you have to do. Subscribe if this content made you feel less alone in your weirdness, if it gave you words for something you always felt, but never knew how to explain. And more importantly, leave in the comments a single phrase. The phrase that best describes how you feel in crowded places. Don't think about it too much. Write the first thing that comes to mind. Because when you share that truth, when you put it into words, you take away its power. And besides, I want to know if we're really connected, if we share this neurological wiring that makes us different from the rest. Now I'm leaving, but not to just anywhere. I'm going exactly to the type of space I've been defending this whole time, to that place where noise doesn't exist, where social masks aren't necessary, where I can process everything I've said without external interference. And you should do the same. Turn this off, seek your silence, and honestly ask yourself, how much longer are you going to pretend that your sensitivity is a problem when in reality it's your greatest gift? Because the clock is ticking, and every second you spend betraying your nature is a second you'll never get back. See you in the next one, if you decide to stay on this path of uncomfortable but liberating truth. And if not, well, you're probably at some party pretending to enjoy it. You choose.